Hey guys, how are you? Um, so let's. I haven't recorded too many uh, courses last month. Well, that's because I'm lazy ass. But now I'm gonna continue. So let me remind you what we are doing here. So our main goal is to create a scheduler bot, Telegram bot, I mean, and it looks something like that. So in some time, just remind me about something, or like at some date, remind me about something like like this, or I don't know, anything like that. So it just accepts all possible kind of messages we want to send to him, and that's all. And it just reminds us about something, right? Right. So what we're going to do now? At our last lesson, we developed this thing. That's basically our tables, our indexes, our, well, just that's all. That's the tables we need. Well, users and reminders. That's pretty much it. What we're gonna do now? Now we're gonna create thing. It's called Docker Compose. Uh, I have already talking about um, something is going on. I cannot press my. Well, I can press, but it doesn't work. It works here, but it doesn't work here. Okay, so I'm just. Uh, yeah, now it doesn't work. I don't know why. Just let me run it once more time. Um, so I have already told about Docker, but I'll repeat myself for for once, just because why not? And yeah, it works now. Okay, so Docker is just a simple way to build your environment of your application. So it means that um, you have some description of your environment, and you can execute that everywhere. So the very similar thing to Docker is as uh, just virtual machines like VMware or something. But the main difference between them uh, is the thing they emulate. And some default kind of virtual machines, they emulate hardware, and Docker emulates uh, software around some operation system core. In most of the cases, that's Linux. Okay, so let's cut the crap and go on. So there are like very basic thing that we have. That's Dockerfile. That's our description. Here we're gonna build our application. Let me do that. So because I was thinking that we already have something like that. But okay, so what we start when we what we do when we start to write our Dockerfile. The first thing we must to decide is what's gonna be our parent image, because whenever you start writing Dockerfile, usually you just use something like as a parent. So for example, it could be just Ubuntu Docker, right? Right. Oh, I remember I was talking about you can check out previous courses. I was talking about images a little bit more. So let me just do the thing at the moment, and I'll just describe you. So I'm gonna create a Docker file to run our application, right? Right. So what do I need? First, I need to to just inherit OpenJDK image, OpenJDK Docker, and let's just find a tag which fits us. Here's a list of tags, and we can just find something like 11 slim and something like that, I guess. Or just 11 slim seems fine to me. So, and we just use from something. And that's pretty much all. After that, we can just run commands, for example. So what do we need here? We need to copy our, let's, for example, at first create our work dir, and let's name this as /app. The, that's basically means like change directory or make dir app and cd app. That's basically this. So that's all this command do, I guess, because it might do something else. Let's check it out really fast because I don't want to trick you, just here's the file reference. You can see all the commands here. There aren't much of them. So where is, okay, work gear. Highlight all. I don't like how search works in Firefox because yeah, it could be much better. So let's do this thing. Yeah, here it is. So work here is instruction. And then so instruction. Yeah, that's basically what I've told you. Okay, so after we moved here, let's run some commands like apt-update and no, let's do that at first. Run update, apt-update and apt upgrade -i and apt install maven, something like that. And after that, let's copy .src. Sorry, let's copy just src to this folder, and let's copy our POM file because that's basically what. So here you can see all our directories and files, and we don't need anything except for our src folder and our POM file. So just yeah. So basically those two commands, they will copy. That's obvious, I guess. They'll copy this file into our work dir because this dot means current directory. If you need, I don't want to offense anyone, but if you don't know what does this point mean or something like that, probably you should check other guides, more basic. That's fine if you don't know what's that, because that's just knowledge. Because I might miss a lot of things and it will be even more complicated for you to understand because your knowledge base would be confused. Okay, so after doing that, let's just build our application. So run basically runs a command inside your environment. Well, basically that's the CLI command. Maven clean package. And let's cmd ls. So that's pretty much it. So the cmd command, that's basically a command that will be executed when we start our container. So there are two stages of using Docker. The first stage, when you build your container from image, or no, when the first stage is when you build your image. The second stage when you create container from your image. So usually I just describe. So image is just a class, and container is just an object. So basically, if you have mm, image with name postgres, container would be just a just new postgres. So that's the best explanation for me. So in terms of Java, so image is just a class. Is class postgres, and container that's just a new new object of this class. That's all. So let's build our image. Need to. I pressed run, but I could press. I could have first build, but let's run it anyway. So here it downloads our. Here it downloads our base parent or just base image. Yeah, and here you can see layers. Let me explain. Whenever you run image, whenever you run Docker build, you can let me clear it up. It's unclearable. I can't delete them. Why? That's odd. Okay, let it be. Just done. Okay, so whenever you build an image, uh, it has layers. What I mean by layers, that all our commands are layers. So that's the first layer, the second layer, the third layer, and etc. etc. So you can see it unlocks. You can see that at first step it just pulls our base image. At our second step, it runs our command. So and now it's failed. I don't know why, but uh, I don't know. Okay, so yeah, I don't know why it failed, and maybe we should just split them up here, so it would be easier to understand. So let's run it one more time, and you can see here that our first step, it passed really quickly because it's cached. So whenever Docker runs build, it just keeps all the parts that haven't changed. Yeah, and here it aborts. I don't know why. Maybe because I don't really remember the right usage of apt-update and apt-upgrade. Yeah, so let's just check it here. Let's think. So this thing has failed, and I don't really understand why. Oh, so you can see that our second step has passed, I guess. But why our Maven step failed? Oh, I guess, yeah. this way, because you have to accept that as well. And this thing probably, or I don't remember. So let it be for, because um yeah, build image. So let's just run it. Yeah, it works fine. So after doing this thing cmd, that's the very first, that's the command that will be executed whenever we run our, and it's failed because the pkg returned an error. Mm, yeah. So it wouldn't be installed because maybe it shouldn't be slim. Yeah, it might be an issue sometimes. Yeah, so let's just remove this thing, because I like when this container is small, because whenever you build your image, I mean, I like when the image is small, because whenever you build an image, it weighs a lot, so it might be thousands of megabytes. Yeah, so, and usually I like to use slim versions. So let's just wait until it completes all the downloads, and I'll explain what's CMD. Well, CMD is just it's not an entry point, because there is an command entry point. It's slightly different, but CMD is just, well, a command that will be executed whenever we start our image. So I use ls here just for example. It will be changed when we finish our when we finish our mm, tries to build it up. Yeah. Oh, we can see that it works fine. So now it's downloading all the dependencies. That's fine. So it means that everything's cool. Yeah. So, and here we can see our beautiful things here. So after all the preparations, we have this set of files. Let's do ls and target. Here you can see the syntax of this thing, and you can, so watch for my hands. When I run it up, it will be executed really fast. See, because I haven't changed anything, and all these commands are cached, and until I change something like here or here, all the steps will be cached. Yeah, and you can see this is there I have my Telegram bot jar, and I can run it like just like that. Uh, Java jar. That's the very basic syntax of running Java jars. And let's just run it one more time. Yeah, and that's fixable because I forgot about target. And it will fail one more time. Yeah, just because no manifest attribute. Uh, what does it mean? It means that it wants it wants our main class, basically in most of the cases. So let's fix that. and I don't remember how to fix that, and that's perfectly fine. So I wanna remind you that this project, all my course, is mm, the main goal of it is to reduce your mm, uh, how do you call that, your imposter syndrome. So because many of you might feel that they are bad engineers or anything, but I'm kind of, I don't know, you can call me like senior engineer. I have plenty years of experience, and you can see that I'm not the super smart guy, and I Google all the time, and etc. etc. So it's not, so it's fine if you do the same thing, because you can't know anything. It's the matter of experience. You might you might have knowledge where to Google or how to Google, yeah, but you're still gonna Google. You're still gonna struggle, because at my very first lesson I spent maybe 40 minutes by setting up logs, even if they weren't broken. Yes, so you can check it out, the very first lesson on this channel, and that's very frustrating, but still it's how it works. Okay, so let's deal with this thing. Mm-hmm. Так. Mm, yeah, so basically our manifest is thing where you can find well the address of your main class. But mm, we are using Maven, so it's fine to just build an executable jar. That's all. So for that we need just to uh, remove that. Yeah. So for that all we need is just add a plugin. Uh, Maybe with the Maven jar plugin, but version should be more fresh. 3.2. Well, this pretty much fresh. And here we just use our mm, main. Yeah, just put the name of your main class here, and don't use package here. Yeah, and let's just check out what is gonna build for us, right? For that, I'll use my terminal, Maven clean package, and let's see what will happen. Because we need to get a full executable jar, like so what do we got here? Yeah, we have our. Let's just remove that one more time, because uh, I don't believe in clean command. You know this. Whenever you use Maven, just use clean. It should clean everything for you. But I just like to be sure. I don't trust software, because I'm a software engineer. I know what's inside, and you should not trust that. Okay, so here we have our Telegram bot jar. Let's just try to run it up. Java jar target Telegram bot. Yeah, yeah. So and yeah, I'm unable to initialize this thing. Let's. I don't like this class path prefix. Let's remove that. See what I'm talking about, because I don't know how Maven works inside. So all the years I was using that, well, I didn't have a chance. I mean, didn't have a reason to investigate this. Usually, uh, all my problems were resolved by, well, Googling or just, well, I have never ever uh, looked under the hood of Maven, and that's fine. So, but now it says that it's fine. It can detect uh, main main class, but it uh, can't find a dependency. So this thing, yeah. So you can see that somewhere it might, yeah, it has Telegram this import, and somehow it just not a part of it. Who knows why? Who knows why? Mhm. So let's just Google one more time. Just Google this thing and you'll get an answer. But it's in Russian voice. But stay calm. Usually, I don't use that. Just the browser. Don't get used to my. Yeah, this thing looks nice. Descriptive refs. Are there things like that? Maybe. Who knows? Let's let's rebuild our project one more time, and we can see an error. It means that this is some bullshit. So it's configuration, archive. So it should be a part of. Yeah, that's right. I missed. It's not allowed here, but why? Why not? And here as well. But let's check it out by running this command, because IDEA usually, well, it doesn't. Yeah, you can see that's the perfect example of how IDEA works. I mean, Intellij IDEA, how IDEA works with the Maven. So you can see that here it's an error. You might spend maybe dozens of minutes trying to solve that, but in real life, everything works fine, because you can see that the build is successful. Let's just run it up, and that basically any nothing has changed. Uh, Maybe executions seems fine. Usually, it's I hate this so much. I mean, I hate. Usually, I just copy that from somewhere, and that's all. Because, well, I hate setting it up, because that's nothing. Java and this JVM world needs to have some new type of new type of, I don't know, building tools or something, because that's just frustrating. Just check out how easy to build, how it's not easy, but how much easier to build something like written in Go. And yeah, yeah, something. Yeah, let's different plugin. Let's just use different plugin, because well, why not? Why not? Why not? It might seem different. Okay, it's main assemble plugin. Main class is gonna be our uh, com dono but main. Yeah, just like that. And let's run it one more time. I guess at this time it's gonna be much more successful. Not on this, but this. Oh, it's building pretty much confident. Um, Just wait for a bit. Yeah, it's successful. Let's check it out, and it says the very much same thing as it used to say. So why it's there? I don't know. Oh, yeah, because there is jar with dependencies, and you can see that it might works. Yes, it does. Okay, so yeah, and the very last thing, because I don't like this thing. I mean this name. So let's uh, use my assembly plugin jar name. Okay, so what do we need here? Mhm. Final name. What's final name? Yeah. Something like reminder, but let's build it up again. Let's keep clean in this part just to make it faster. I why why does it use jar with dependencies? Maybe this thing doesn't seem like as a, but it does. Assembly scripters found. Yeah, I was thinking like, okay. Append assembly ID. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. Yeah, now it's gonna be fine at this point. Kind of time. Yep. Okay, here we have our nice looking reminder jar bot jar. Okay, so let's put it here. Reminder bot jar, and run it one more time. So and now you can see that it's skipped all this thing using cache, yeah. But after the first changed layer, it well, the Docker invalidates all the caches. So after this thing, so the pom.xml was changed, obviously, and starting with this cache, with this layer, all the caches are invalidated. So this, and etc. Well, that's just pretty clear concept to me. So let's check out how this goes. Pretty much silent. Doesn't? Okay. What we're gonna do next? Well, it's pretty much obvious that this thing is it doesn't work, but why? Cool. Why? I hate this. Java jar target minor bot jar. But it works. I can see perfectly it works here. So maybe there's some issues in our Docker file, but I don't see any of them. Somehow it just says cannot find this. Oh yeah, I see. Here's the issue. So whenever you copy folder, just don't forget to use the name. So it was just building an empty project or something. So let's build it one more time. Yeah, and we're gonna wait one more time for a few minutes. So while it's building, I'm pretty much sure that it's gonna be fine. Let me tell you about Docker Compose. That's the next step. What's that? So as you can see, we can run this thing everywhere, right? But it has no idea about our database or something or whatever. And we do have database because you can remember that we were creating div, and I showed you to you a few minutes ago. Yeah. So we need to add our database. Our database can be run inside Docker as well. I was showing it to you previously. Well, that's very easy. But so it's not very comfortable to run both the image like separately, and that's just frustrating. So for this thing, and the thing called Docker Compose it was invented. Compose YAML, just like that. And let's just check it out how it looks like. Docker Compose overview. So it looks something like that. Like version and services. So let's see. For those who aren't familiar with this type of files, it's YAML. That's very bad type of mm, you know styles or like markup languages, whatever. So it's very it's very you know mm, just it loves tabs. It hates tabs. It loves spaces. It's very you know no. I I don't have enough vocabulary to describe it to you. So you have to watch clear about intents or anything here. Okay, just now might forget about what this thing. Just it's not so comfortable for me. Okay, so and let's go on. So first we have services. Services just basically a parent's title for our Docker files. Let me just demonstrate to you. So what things are we gonna have? We're gonna have our reminder bot, reminder, right? And we're gonna have our database. So that's the very basic things we're gonna have, and let's just order it. Uh, there is no difference between ordering. I guess, because I haven't checked. Maybe there is a difference, but for me it's easier to build from the last thing to the most thing. That our bot is dependent on this database. So how we gonna run database in Postgres? Database in how we gonna what we're gonna do here. So basically, that's a way to describe whenever you run Docker image, you uh, set up some keys like volumes, ports, etc. So let's just here we see image, and let's just pick up Postgres, just like that. We're gonna need some. Well, let's specify container name. It's gonna be our reminder DB. There you can specify any name you want to. What do we have also? We have volumes. Volumes is just persistent mounts for our database image. Yeah. So and this how it looks like. We specify from the left part our local place. And the second part, we specify our containers. I mean, some place inside of container. So for that, for Postgres, let's like docker compose Postgres. Just check this. Let's check some documentation. So yeah. So yeah, just put this thing all the time. It's called restart always. It means that whenever we reboot or whenever it fails, it will run again. So and let's find here something. Not very much as I expected. Okay. Worms. Let's find another example. Okay. Yeah, here it's fine. Yeah. So that's a nice example. That's simple. Yeah. So and we have volumes. Let's say it's Postgres date. So this thing doesn't belong to this reminder thing because of spaces here. So it's the structure is regulated by amount of spaces basically. So it's just some other part. Yeah, and here we we create some named volumes. So that's we can not do that, but that's just easier for us, easier for me. So and here we can just specify that just like that. Yeah. So and it restarts always, and we also must use some environment variables like that. So it's gonna be our default ones. So it's like Postgres, DB, well, just the default. We must to specify them. We must specify them just to run Postgres. So that's basically an environment variables. We pass them to the well in the same way as we could pass them using just simple docker run command like here. You see? Okay, and let's start our database. Let's also add here our Dockerfile. How to do that? Let's get back to our documentation. You can see it here. Or not. Let's just Google it. Docker compose build Dockerfile. Yeah. No, it's not the thing. Not the thing. Build. Oh, maybe it is the. Yeah. So. Yeah, I guess that's it. So let's just build. We use build and build this. That's all. And okay, and yeah, that's basically all we need. And let's depends on database. It means that this thing, well, that's obvious. It depends on our database. That's all. Yep. So let's start it up and we'll check it out how it works. So it creates. You can see here that it creates. It at this moment it runs our Dockerfile. It means that this thing work. So it just I guess this thing means that we'll build this we'll build something inside this folder. Yeah, and by default the name of Dockerfile is Dockerfile. So You don't even need to specify that. So let's just run. Let's just wait until it finishes. But it's basically gonna work, except for something. Yeah, because now it's not. So how do we connect to our database? We don't. We haven't set up it yet because, well, for many reasons, I guess. But it's just, let's pretend we have our connection between database and our application. So I'll just explain you how to connect them better. So because when we run our application with the database, we want to specify database host, right? Or database URL. And we need to set up our application in the same way as we uh, do for our database by passing some environment variables there. How are we gonna do that? Let me explain. Just wait for a moment until it stops. Yeah, it's flickering because the guys from JetBrains, they failed, like fail of, of parsing this because, well, I know. You can see it just cannot, well, update very stable, so it updates to update this amount of seconds, and that has passed. Yeah, so it must stop very soon. Yeah, it yeah. So it's you can see it's creating reminder DB, creating Telegram bot reminder, and you can see here is our database. It's up in the ready for connections, and here is our database, or is it? And here is our bot reminder. It's trying to find some reminders. Yeah. So let's just check it out that it really works. Like in 10 seconds, tell me a joke. Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Will do. Yeah. So wow, it works. Fine. Yeah, but so and basically our applications pretty much works at the moment. But if we restart that, it will drop all the reminders. That's the reason why we need database. Okay, so that's understandable. So uh, when we use this thing, uh, how we should access our database from our bot or whatever service we use. Usually it's done by setting up environment variables like that. So for example, uh, let's say our application watch environment variables on startup and uses it as host. So for example, it's going to be something like that. DB URL, something blah blah blah, right? So and we're just gonna pass like postgres, or not the postgres but reminder DB. So for our application here, this thing will be available at this URL. So that's the URL, the entire URL. I mean that if this would be a service, it would be something like that. HTTP, and that's all. That's a domain basically for. So we connect between our services by using domains as their names. So it's going to be reminder DB. If this container by any reason wants to access this container, it will be oh, that's basically that's oh we don't need to specify uh, container name. There is no reason. So if this container wants to access this container, it will use this name as a host. That's all. So that's how containers work between. Well, I mean, that's how they connected. They have a single network, and they have something like local DNS with all the names of their neighbor containers. That's all. Okay, so what we're gonna do next? At this point, I wanted to stop our lessons. It's been 50 minutes already. So what we're gonna do out our next lesson? We're gonna move our application, I guess, to the Spring, because that's the easiest way to connect database without a pain. And that's basically it's needed because, or maybe it's not needed. Well, no, I think that's needed because it's useful from a knowledge perspective. Right? Right. Yeah. So just stay tuned and it's gonna be fine. It's not that hard, and there are no much things left. Right? Okay. So bye guys. See you next time. Leave a comment. I don't believe that anyone in this world uh, is still listening, but if you are there, thank you.